have the privilege to share this important day in DePauw history. This is a day that will be significant for DePauw in ways that we have dreamed of for decades, and in ways that will make a difference for generations to come. Dan Millman said that the secret to change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. And we are doing that today, both literally and figuratively. The Justin and Darien Christian Center for Diversity and Inclusion is the pathway to a new tomorrow for the students, faculty, staff, alumni, parents, and friends who learn, live, and work here. Its presence as a place of welcome, of understanding, hope, and inclusion ushers in a better DePauw and impacts those who will become the leaders in our world. President Bob Bottom started this effort on this campus and started us toward a more diverse DePauw, and we have been the beneficiaries of that vision ever since. But diversity is only the start. Achieving an inclusive campus is the ultimate goal. It's a horizon we will always chase and a goal worth achieving. This center is the new home for the Association of African American Students and the Dorothy Brown Cultural Resource Center. The center is the new home for all students seeking to understand difference. This center is the new home for a better world and for a brighter future. There are many people to thank for this journey and the journey that resulted in today's celebration. And though it's not possible to mention every person who has touched this center and its planning, I'd like to take a moment to recognize those who spearheaded this vision and were involved in key phases of the work. Alan Hill, Melanie Norton, Myrna Hernandez, Jeanette Johnson-Hung, and Dick Vance worked with Justin and Darien on the initial vision of this center and its funding. Several of these professionals were also a part of the core committee for the Inclusive Excellence Initiative, which also included Renee Madison, Ann Harris, Steve Setchell, Nigel Bruce, Neil McKinney, and Steve Trout. Their hard work has helped engage and involve others in support of this effort. Warren Weitzel, Dustin Bishop, Rob Harper, and a cadre of talented facilities folks worked with our project designer, Ratio Architects, our construction company, Brand Construction, and amazing decorator, Darien Christian, to provide a building that is unlike any other on our campus and will serve as a home away from home for so many. One of the hallmarks of the DePauw staff is they never let you see us sweat, but be careful sitting on the furniture. They were still building it this morning. An expanded team of staff members and students have provided time, talent, and energy to plan and execute the entire weekend's festivities to create and promote a celebration worthy of this moment. In addition to those I've already mentioned, I'd like to recognize Kristen Champa, Wendy Jackson, Eliza Frame, Alicia Bowman, Hattie Blair, Matt Otani, JC Lopez, Amanda Nelson, Kyle Bartos, Byron Mason, Avilo Hazev, Lynn Lam, Dante Stewart, and Gracie Janeo of the planning committee to help deliver this stellar weekend. And finally, I'd like to thank you, those in attendance today and those who were unable to join us, who have committed their time, talent, and treasure to this institution and those it serves. All that happens here is not possible without the love and support of all of you who care so much. It is now my pleasure to invite our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Ann Harris, to the microphone to speak about the importance of this center and our work. Dr. Harris.
Good morning, everyone. It is with joy and no small amount of awe that we stand together today to join the powerful presence of the Justin and Darien Christian Center for Diversity and Inclusion with the lasting mission of the university. Our history has been waiting for this moment. Deep within the roots of our beloved institution lies our motto: the college is the glory and the light of the common good. Yes, It's right here. In this unique moment, we are able to see and feel the common good all around us. In the beauty of this place, and it is beautiful. In the gladness of our company. In the love of Justin's parents. In the light of Justin and Darianne's daughters. And in our shared knowledge of the common good that this meaningful place safeguards with certitude and strength. In the weeks and months and years to come, we will see the common good in students gathering here to relax and recharge. We will celebrate it in our students' well-being. We will love it in their thriving. We will be moved by the common good in the conversations that emanate from the guests and speakers who will fill this space with transformative ideas and compelling words. We will know it in the seminars and classes that will challenge and shape the thinking of all of our scholars, faculty, and students alike. We will find it in the innovation and creativity that collaborations and diverse teams produce. We will live it in the many relationships that this center will foster, the many bonds it will nurture, and the many concerted efforts through which the university as a whole will always now join in its mission. Our motto offers up possibilities of interpretation that have challenged us to shape our world throughout our history. Re publicae, the public things, the common good, can also be translated as the republic. The college is the glory and the light of the republic. Here, it resonates powerfully with the mission for education that John Dewey set forth when he stated that education is the midwife of democracy, indicating the constant state of renewal that our humanity and our world call for. It calls up the visionary words of our honored speaker, Charlene Hunter-Galt, yesterday, as she described the incredible moments that she and Vernon Newman walked when she became the first African-American woman to attend the University of Georgia in what she called our ongoing journey to a more perfect union. The mission of our university, the mission of our democracy, is a bold one. It requires work, a lot of work. And this building marks the institution's commitment to that work and the toils and joys, both, that come with it. Justin and Darianne, you have given us a place that will hold us as we gather our strength. Lift us up when the work gets hard, and shine brightly with us when the resplendence of that more perfect union, the promise of American democracy, the glory and the light of the common good, the gladness of community, the warmth of well-being, and the fun of being young triumph. You have given us a place of warmth and gathering, of exploration and courage, of rest and renewal, and we thank you. As we stand together in this beautiful place, on the threshold of a new chapter of DePauw University's history and mission, and its commitment to diversity, inclusion, education, and the striving for a more perfect union. There are no better words for me to end with than those with which Ms. Hunter-Galt ended her talk yesterday. For each of you walking in this building, your time has come. To speak along with our wondrous students.
Thank you for being here today. As I was asked to put together some remarks, I really wanted to underscore what I said at the construction ceremony last spring about the CDI evolving and growing to meet the needs of current students and the DePauw community. When I thought a little bit about how I wanted to describe that in more detail, I felt it would be much more meaningful to simply ask a group of students to tell you in their own words what the CDI means to them. So I asked some members of the dedication planning team and representatives from AAAS and the identity affinity groups that were housed in the Dorothy Brown Cultural Resource Center to participate today. I'm going to let them tell you what they had to say. They'll introduce themselves and tell to you a little bit about what the CDI means to them.
Hello everyone, my name is Jayla Rufus and I'm the president of AAAS. The CDI for me is a transformation and is a right step in the right direction for DePauw and the community to continue to embrace diversity and inclusion and to create a safe space on campus for students of color.
I am the president of the International Student Association. For me, CDI brings the pride to students to demonstrate their culture and identity. I really can see my organization having a good time here, and I am from China. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is DePauw. I am a member of the planning committee, and for me, the CDI, what I hope the CDI to become, based on the 3 letters that define it, and what I hope that it embodies is communication within the community, dedication for a better campus, and inspiration for tomorrow.
Good morning, my name is Byron Mason. I'm also a member of the planning committee, and to me, the CDI is a place to foster growth for students of color.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kyle Bartos. I was part of the planning committee, and for me, the CDI represents acceptance. In order to have a strong community, we need acceptance, and this is the right step toward that.
Hi, my name is Maggie. I'm the alumni chair for the Committee for Latino Concerns. And to me, the CDI means that this is one of the first steps towards making future generations of students of color feel like they belong on campus.
I'm representing United DePauw, an LGBT organization on campus. I use Dorothy Brown. And to me, the CDI is a place of respite and resources, as well as a place for me to explore the facets of my identity with other people doing the same.
Good morning. My name is Peter Gorman. I'm the president of DePauw First for first-generation college students on campus, as well as a part of the planning committee. And for me, the CDI will be a great benefit to the DePauw community to ensure that the university stays committed to diversity and inclusion, especially for people of color and first-generation college students.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Romsha. I'm the vice president of Muslim Student Association. And for me, the CDI is a platform where people can come together, regardless of differences in race, ethnicities, religious associations, sexual orientation, so I'm super excited for this.
And it is my sincere hope that all of us who engage with the center work to build and find community here and leave DePauw a better place than when we arrived. Please join me in thanking these and all of the students who are here with us today. Before I turn it over to our esteemed guests, I'd like to take a moment to share our profound gratitude and thanks to Dorothy Brown, who was the first director of Multicultural Student Services at DePauw, and who was instrumental in establishing many identity and affinity groups on this campus. Dorothy elected not to speak today, but if we could please recognize her and show our gratitude. On behalf of the student body and the student academic life staff, I'm thrilled and honored to welcome the alumni whose name will grace this remarkable center, our esteemed alumni and friends, Justin and Darian Christian.
It's tough speaking after those kids. It's like they just dropped the microphone. I gotta pick it up. Thank you, guys. Your words mean so much. You know, I wasn't alive when Dr. Martin Luther King empowered the civil rights movement of the 60s. But today, more than 50 years later, I bear witness to the impact of his leadership. You see, people like Dr. King
could visualize a better society and have the courage to take action to foster change. Oftentimes with change comes risk. Sometimes these risks can be small, and other times these risks can be very costly. We look back on the legacy of Dr. King now with great reverence, but when Dr. King was alive, his beliefs were not popular in many circles of society. That said, he could have easily sat back and silently supported the cause. He could have waited for someone else to take the lead. But no, Dr. King had the courage to take risks. Those risks, his dream, would ultimately cost him his life. Are we, as parents, students, teachers, citizens, friends, willing to take those same risks today? Even though our ideas might not be very popular, are we putting ourselves out there? Are we trying new things? We cannot expect to move forward, and we cannot expect to be better if we are afraid to take risks. We had an amazing guest on campus yesterday, Ms. Charlene Hunter-Gall. For those of you who were not able to attend yesterday, Ms. Hunter-Gall is a radio personality. She's a news anchor, civil rights activist, and a journalist. But most notable, Ms. Hunter-Gall stepped onto the world stage in 1961 at the age of 19. Same age as a lot of you guys. You see, at 19, Charlene defied the segregation norms of the Deep South and became one of the first 2 African Americans to attend the University of Georgia. At that time, segregation was so rooted in Southern culture that the state of Georgia would actually provide financial assistance to black students to attend northern universities as justification for not integrating Georgia colleges. At 19, Charlene had the courage to take a stand against generations of repression and racism. What gives somebody at such a young age that type of resolve? What gives somebody that type of courage? I was drawn to the dedication in Ms. Hunter-Gall's autobiography. It read, "For my mother and father, who never told me I had to stay in my place." You know, I look at my daughters here today, and you know, as a parent, you pray that you raise kids that are happy, that are kind, and have good values. But just as important, you hope that you can foster a confidence in your children that prepares them to boldly take risks and challenge social structures that attempt to compromise those same values. Risks, good and bad, are inevitable from birth. With a toddler's first step, she is taking a risk of stepping out into the world. How do we as parents or teachers encourage our kids to venture outside of those comfort zones, take risks, and stand for a cause that demands their response? Look, with technology advances, we don't know what type of jobs to prepare our kids for over the course of the next 10, 20, 50 years. But every single child and every single student that comes through this university will be presented with the opportunity to stand against social injustice. In Charlene Hunter-Gall's first few days on the University of Georgia, her dorm room was attacked when a group of hostile students threw a Coke bottle, through her window. Another girl was injured during that incident, and this created a big scene at the dormitory. Charlene would be heckled during the ordeal. She would actually be blamed for the incident. Charlene would say that it was hard for her to sit there and listen to the things that were being said about her. But she would point out and make note of the kindness of one young Jewish girl, Paula Leader, who would make her way through the crowd and comfort Charlene. Paula's kindness to Charlene would result in insults being hurled at her as well. Later that evening, Charlene would reflect on how brave it was for Paula to extend herself in the way that she had. She would wonder how many people would have the courage to do that. She even asked herself would she have had the courage to do that. You know, Percy Julian, he's a rock star icon in chemistry. Now, we all know him. Obviously, his name blesses our Julian Science and Math Center. But you know, in 1916, when Percy Julian boarded the train from Montgomery, Alabama, bound for Greencastle, he would distinctly recall his grandfather's hand waving as the train departed the station. You see, Percy Julian's grandfather's hand only had 3 fingers. I told the story before, 2 of them had been cut off as the punishment of a slave attempting to learn how to read. And when Percy Julian arrived at the Greencastle station, DePauw University couldn't find anyone that would agree to pick him up on campus. Pick him up and bring him to campus. No faculty, no staff, no students. But as I understand the story, a young Kenneth Holgate, who was a junior at the time, heard about Julian and offered to pick him up from the train station. Julian would note in his memoirs that Holgate's hand was the first white person's hand that he had ever shaken. And that Julian would go on and graduate valedictorian of his class here at DePauw and become a world-renowned chemist. And Holgate would graduate Phi Beta Kappa and eventually be inducted into the Indiana Journalism Hall of Fame. I want to imagine back in 1916 when these 2 young great men quickly found common ground in their respective genius. The saying goes, game recognizes game, regardless of skin color. I would guess that Holgate's relationship with Julian did not quickly find many supporters on campus. You see, great people chart their own paths. They let time and history validate their choices. I asked, who's waiting at the train station today? So let's allow this beautiful Diversity and Inclusion Center to remind us of the lessons of Dr. King, Ms. Charlene Hunter Gall, fellow alums Percy Julian and Kenneth Holgate. And let us be hopeful that we each have the strength to take a position against injustice when life presents us with our opportunity. DePauw University is taking its own stand here today. It's the 124th Monon Bell Classic Day. We're going to win today, Mark. But I would argue that we are a better institution today than we have ever been in our 124-year history of this game. The diversity of our campus, our focus on outcomes, our commitment to stoke the confidence within our students so that they will be the fearless leaders of tomorrow. Fearless leaders of action with high character, fearless leaders of action with a social conscience. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank all of you for helping us get this project to completion here today. Our work is far from done, but thank you guys. Alan, Melanie, Myrna, Jeanette, you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Mark, Thank you. Warren and Dustin in facilities. Dustin, you are a good person. I don't know if you're here today. Darian and I have enjoyed getting to know you. My parents for making the trip here today. Guys, you never told me to stay in my place either. And I thank you for that. Darian, my wife, you never disappoint me. Your attention to detail in every aspect of this project, your eye for excellence is world class. And I love you for that. Guys, let's go on and win.
I'm always moved by Justin's words and thoughts. And as I was sitting listening to him, I was thinking about how far DePauw has come since we first admitted Tucker Wilson, or when you hear those stories about our incredible team, or about the person that's responsible actually for bringing Charlene and Paul here yesterday, our own Vernon Jordan. And Vernon tells some very powerful stories about his time here, one of 4 African Americans in the whole school when he came. And I think about his wisdom and his far beyond his years and his moving us forward in profound ways at that time, and how this continued on, person after person, this inexorable march toward a more just and inclusive place. Vernon tells a story about being put in a dormitory with 4 white guys. On the first day, they had no idea he was their roommate. He had no idea he was theirs, and he came in, and there was just a silence. And he went on and did his thing, and they went on and did their thing. He would be at the library, they'd be at the library. Finally, one day, his mother sent some baked goods from home, and he opened up the box, and he offered it and said, "What do you think of this, guys? You want something?" And they were like, "Your mom bakes cookies too?" He's like, "Yeah, she does." And inch by inch, he talked about the time that they moved together. And then he talks about the time that he took them with him to Atlanta, Georgia. And they slept in his house, in his bedroom, in his bed. And he came downstairs, and his dad said, "I have 4 white boys." And I think of the wisdom that he had to have had, and the perseverance that he had to have had to survive those times, and to move DePauw forward through his humility, and his grace, and his wisdom, and that continues on to this day. And you see, when you see Justin and Darian, that wisdom and grace continue. And they're reaching forward to continue this. And I wonder who in this room is also going to be that person that we talk about 50 years from now, when we look back and say, look how far DePauw has come. Look how we stood on the shoulders. We learned from those people who came before us, and we made certain that we made the world a more just and inclusive place. This is a powerful day. This is a powerful building. And I just wanted to take a moment and share a few officer thoughts on that. So now I promise to get back to this work. Among a sea of impressive, impactful, and commonly successful graduates, Justin, Darian, and Christian stand out. They're shining examples of DePauw's history of creating the leaders the world needs now. As leaders, they make us incredibly inspired. As alumni, they make us incredibly proud. And as visionary and generous philanthropists, today they make us incredibly grateful. So I would like to invite Justin and Darian, along with our student representatives, to join me as we cut the ribbon and officially open this beautiful session. Students, faculty, staff, alumni, parents, and special friends, please show your appreciation and join us on this grand day in the grand opening of the Justin and Darian Christian Center for Diversity and Inclusion at DePauw University. As we celebrate this new center. Please also stay for a full day of festivities as we kick off the 124th Monon Bell game and let those folks from Wabash take a look at it for a little while. And then let's look forward to ringing the bell again. Victory this year. Thank you for coming.